in a place called Hamden, Connecticut. I am with what I would call a famous doctor. Is it Natan? How do you say your first name?
Natan, N-A-T-A-N.
Bowman.
Bauman.
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 And that's B-A-U.
M-A-N.
M-A-N.
Correct.
Okay, I want to be correct with your full name. And I am here with him today to do this interview. And I'm going to start with, what is your title?
Well, my professional title, okay, is doctor, okay, and then I have a doctorate degree in a field called audiology, okay, which is actually my second degree. My original interest and my original degree was in electronics with major in electroacoustics, and that was from Poland, okay, so, you know, by the definition, okay, yeah, I'm originally from Poland. So if you can trace a little bit of an accent, it's related to my Polish heritage, I guess, in some way. Okay. Yes. So my journey to where I am right now was kind of very interesting, okay, because my original interests, okay, were in the field of science, okay, related to, you know, physics, related to, at one point then it started to kind of, you know, go into acoustics, and this is where I got my first master's degree, okay, in engineering electronics.
Excuse me, what made you go into this field? What was the first thing that made you go into it?
To the field of electronics? Okay, well, there was actually an interesting kind of a way of getting into it. I was originally wanted to go to physics. After I graduated from high school, I wanted to go to physics, okay. My mother was insistent, okay, that I get something that I would have a profession rather than, you know, an academic degree.
Yeah.
And because of this, I decided to go to what is referred to in Poland as a Polytechnical Institute. Okay.
Oh, yes.
And then because I was, you know, very ambitious, I decided to go to a field that was most difficult to get into. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I was actually lucky enough that I got into, which was called electronics. Okay. And then while I was already there, you know, my interest, I always had an interest in sound, in music. So I went into a field which is called electroacoustics, thinking that I was going to end up being in a role of basically designing different forms of concert halls.
Is that right?
Theaters, yes. So this was, you know, my original intention, and in some way, you know, my dreams in terms of what I was going to do. Okay.
They have some beautiful concert halls in Sweden.
Yes, yes,
gorgeous.
Yes. There is a beautiful also one in Sydney, Australia. Mm-hmm. That is gorgeous. Okay, and obviously we have a very nice, which has a very interesting history, at the Lincoln Center in New York.
That's right.
There were some issues, okay, in the beginning, and then we had to be redone. As a matter of fact, I had an opportunity to work with the original designer, Dr. Cyril Harris, who, when I came to United States, I enrolled into Columbia University. They wanted me to take a couple of courses to get a degree from in the United States, so I enrolled there. I had an opportunity to work in acoustics with Dr. Cyril Harris. I also had a job that was related to designing equipment for testing hearing, and that kind of piqued my interest in terms of, you know, understanding a little bit more, you know, how the whole hearing system works. And I decided to take a course in physiology of the auditory system from a department of audiology at Columbia University. I met a professor there, a very famous professor, Ira Ventry, who suggested that I might consider switching directions, and he was so persuasive and painted such a beautiful picture, okay, that I decided to switch. So I got my master's degrees, and then I got my doctorate degree, from.
So what you thought you were going to go into,
it turned out
that's how it goes, though.
Yeah, it turned out that I really found my right place.
Wow.
Where I am right now, or perhaps maybe I made my right place by exploring certain things that were beyond my horizon of imagination. Okay, and I find it very rewarding in a lot of different ways of working in the field that I'm right now, because what I do has a direct impact on people's lives.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah. And one of the things that I remember, when I was in one of my classes at Columbia University, is that I somehow heard somewhere the fact that Helen Keller, who was blind and deaf, was asked if she could regain one of her senses. Okay, she said without hesitation, and I'm going to paraphrase exactly what she said, but in a way, what she said, that not seeing deprives me of having relationship with objects. Not hearing deprives me of having relationship with people. Okay, and that really made a very significant impact on me. Okay, and it was another kind of a decision, helpful with the decision-making process of becoming somebody who can have an impact and contribute to people's lives. So my journey to where I am right now was kind of different, okay, but I feel privileged of having the background, okay, of electronics, which helped me in my professional career in audiology in a lot of ways.
That's a great branch to have.
Yeah.
You have these branches, and you work off of these branches, and you end up in this audiology field here in Hamden, Connecticut, on Whitney Avenue. What is the number here on Whitney Avenue?
It's 3074.
3074 Whitney Avenue.
Yeah.
So
I had an opportunity. I worked in a lot of different places. Right now, I'm in a private practice. Prior to that, I had a different private practice under Hearing, Balance, and Speech Center for many years, and then I transitioned from the other practice to this new practice. Before that, I was the director of the Hearing, Speech, and Language Clinic at Yale New Haven Hospital, and I have worked in a lot of different clinical capacities. What I can really be very proud of, okay, helping people hearing better, is the fact that I designed a hearing aid that is the most popular hearing aid right now in the world. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'm one of the users of this kind of design. But
this is unbelievable.
The hearing
Look
aid,
at this, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So the hearing aid, that part of it is behind the ear and part of goes in the ear. Is my design, and that design right now, it's probably.
Can you put that on the table for my audience? Let me take a look at this. So this was designed. What year did you design this?
That was designed. My first patent was issued in, I think now, 2002 or 2000. So I have several patents that are issued.
And it goes firmly behind the ear?
Yes.
And it's kind of like wearing those earbuds that musicians wear. They have the same kind of design.
Similar. Yeah.
They probably took your design and ran with it.
Yeah. Well, all hearing aids, well, not all, but most hearing aids right now have that kind of a design. It has proven to be a more satisfactory design from a point of view of sound delivery, from a point of view of aesthetics and cosmetic value of the instrument. So that was, something that I am really, I feel privileged that I had the opportunity and the creativity in a way to think about something that would be out of box, okay, something different from all hearing aids, okay, that we had prior to this. Okay. The other thing that I feel that that I am very influential and helpful is in the field of what's called tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears or buzzing in the ears.
Okay, may I interrupt you with this right
Sure,
now?
of course.
So, as you know, because I've been here once to this office and I had a very good visit with you, and I was very happy with the results as far as finding out what exactly was going on with me. I'm a professional musician for years. I started at 3 years old on piano, started singing, dancing, the whole thing. And so now through the years, I will not give my age, but through the years, you know, we did play loud music in the 70s. I have some ringing in the ears, and we have had a discussion on that. And most musicians end up with this ringing in the ears. And so what do you prescribe? Tell the people out there what is you think is the best thing for the ringing in the ears.
Well, the most important message for those people who have ringing in the ears that is in some way disturbing and interfering with their life is the fact that something can be done about it. Because most of the time they come out of different offices understanding that you have to live with this. And that's a terrible message to anybody who has disturbing, tinnitus. Okay. So the most important message that yes, there is treatment for tinnitus. Okay. And it's it can be very, very successful. So the treatment for tinnitus, okay, consists of two components. One component for treatment for tinnitus is what I refer to as a hardware component. Okay, it's a device that either improves your hearing, because if you have some degree of hearing deficiency, hearing loss, then the objective evaluation of the internal sound tinnitus becomes more prominent because you cannot hear well the sound from outside. It's sort of like looking at the candle in a dark room, okay, that represents, okay, a certain brightness. Looking at the same candle in a daylight, okay, or against the sunlight, the same candle does not appear to be as bright.
Do you feel, excuse me, that the loud music might have contributed to?
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. Okay, that continuous exposure to excessive amount of sound is responsible for tinnitus and is also responsible for some hearing changes.
And it's funny because you're just hearing this now. What I've seen on YouTube channels and all the research, they are really digging hard to find out ways to figure out how to deal with it. And you hear from so many different doctors, and it's like, I can't believe what you hear. And they're like, press on the bottom of your earlobes and hold them tight and pull them down. You could do this to relieve the ringing. You could do that to relieve the ringing. I'm fortunate that mine is basically, okay, this might sound funny to you, but when I eat fish or I eat anything salty, that's when it really starts in.
Yes. Well, tinnitus definitely can be increased with certain foods. Okay, so one of them is if you eat significant amount of salt, okay, which is not recommended, caffeine, alcohol. Okay, so those things are definitely one of the reasons for increased tinnitus.
Yeah. Mine is on and off, so I mean everybody has different, I mean, my exposure to loud music was in a place that I had worked years ago, and there were bands constantly coming in. They were way too loud. Sometimes you had to put earplugs on, but I remember that. That could have done a little damage, but I'm working with it, and I'm doing pretty well. But as you said, you don't have to go through this in your life, and there are those aids that can help. There are those vitamins that can help. Do you believe in the riboflavin?
Well, there's actually not really good study, okay, that would really show that there is some form of, effectiveness with those kind of, vitamins, okay. Yeah. Vitamins per se, okay, can help in terms of management of tinnitus. And what I mean by this, that if your body, from a physical point of view, feels, feels good, okay, there is a better way of managing the sound, okay, the intruding sound, okay. If we are stressed, if we are tired, okay, if our body is in some way, suffering because of malnutrition and so forth, okay, then our ability, okay, to really tolerate and manage tinnitus, okay, becomes, not really, good enough. So sleep or deprivation, okay, of sleep also plays a very important role, because sleeping is one form of basically re-energizing. Okay?
Oh yeah, everything.
Your body, okay, and if you don't sleep well, I just had a patient who was just telling me that he could only sleep about 2 hours every night. So obviously that's not going to be sufficient, okay, to be able to really manage tinnitus through the course of the day. Okay, so the vitamins do play an important role.
And they, a lot of people use white noise so that they can sleep and this and that. Luckily, I don't have anything that's too bad yet. So I'm going to look for preventative, as a musician. But, I've been in an orchestra. I've been with duets. I have band practice every week. I have a band. And so, I always say to the guys, turn it down a little bit while we're in practice, because we're in a room practicing.
Yeah.
When you're in a room, in a basement, it can only go so far, and you're in air conditioning, you're inside, so the sound isn't really going out. But that's one of the things. But tell me something. What was in your life, what was a very rare case that maybe you had walk into this office with a hearing thing that you couldn't believe? Was there anything that shocked you? I know you have thousands of patients and people,
that's a difficult question.
Was there anything that was really weird?
Yeah, weird. I wouldn't put it this way, maybe. What shocked me, okay, and always continues to shock me when I see a newborn, okay, who is diagnosed to be deaf, or to have a very severe, profound hearing loss. That always, I can always feel something in my heart.
Yes.
Okay, that basically, kind of tells me that that this is something that it's just unfair in some way.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Now, other than that, obviously, I've had patients who came complaining of tinnitus who were suicidal. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so those people also, in addition to my help, required also help of other professional people, to make sure, okay, that they're not going to go, the wrong
Jeez.
direction. Yeah. Going back, always very young infants, okay, or young children who have a significant hearing loss. It's something that it just makes some form of a reactivity in me, okay, that produces a lot of emotions. Okay? Yeah. One of the child, he's not a child anymore, who I had a privilege to see, was a son of an ear doctor from Serbia, okay, who was born with severe to profound hearing loss. Okay, it's a charming boy. Okay, right now he's a teenager. Okay, and he's obviously amplified and is doing, quite well. But I'm always thinking about, what kind of potential, this child would have had, okay, if it wasn't for the fact that he has to deal with such a significant degree of hearing loss. Okay, and how his emotions are being developed, understanding, okay, that he has, so much work that he needs to put into hearing and becoming part of the, hearing community.
I guess people don't realize that the ears are very fragile, and you do need to take care of the ears like any part of the body, the eyes, the ears, everything. we just have to take better care of ourselves, and that's what you're doing here. You had a purpose in your life, and you branched out from electronics, and you ended up into the auditory field here, and now you discovered and you put together this invention of these hearing aids, which you have available. How could people get these hearing aids that you...
Aids, yeah. Well, I mean, there are, unless they want to see me, okay, then, they should really contact my office. And the number to call the office is 475-227-0842, okay? And there are 3 locations in Connecticut. So one location is in Hamden, the other location is in Norwalk, and there's a location in Brantford, Connecticut as well.
You are a busy man.
I love to be busy.
Do you have time to eat?
Well, as a matter of fact, I just had a chance to swallow a couple of bites of a little sandwich.
Really?
Before you came.
You said you were Polish.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm originally from Poland.
And I love Polish people. From the time I was a little girl, I saw a Polish party at a beach with Polish music, and I said to my parents, why are those people so happy? They're all like, they're jolly, happy, laughing.
Yeah.
And I just said, everybody there is so happy. And I found out it was this Polish party.
Polish party.
Yeah. And very upbeat people. And I was in a Polish wedding band.
Oh, is it right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So you play some Polish polkas?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can dance the polkas
right,
and play the polkas. And, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Me too. I used to enjoy, I haven't done it in a long time, but I used to really enjoy dancing polka.
And so what's your favorite Polish food?
Well, let's see. I have, a few of them. So one of them is stuffed cabbage, okay, called in Polish gołąbki. Okay.
Yes, gołąbkis.
Yeah, and the other one is pierogi.
Pierogi.
Pierogi, okay. So
We love pierogis.
yeah, that's right. So those would be the 2 really main, Polish, kind of foods. Okay, yeah.
That's great.
That I like, yeah.
That's great.
That I like, yeah.
And let me ask you this question. What do you like to do when you have time off, which is a rare occasion, I bet?
Yeah. Well, I am in some way a little nerd, so I have to admit to it. Okay, yeah. When I have the time off, I'd like to basically think about how to make things better. Okay, what to do to basically improving some functions of certain things. Okay, so I have several different patents related not just to hearing, but to other things. Okay, that I felt would be beneficial in terms of improving the functionality of certain things. Okay.
Wow.
And I like to read.
You're a thinker.
Okay. Yeah.
The Polish people, the Polish culture, they have very high IQs, from what I understand.
I think that I don't know about it. Okay, I think that
Come on, you're brilliant.
Every culture and every race or every nation produces a certain percent of people who are dedicated to more to science and some to art and so forth.
Yeah.
So I just feel that I am really blessed in some way, to be able to kind of often think outside of the box, and
cool.
And look at things in a way that maybe some other people would not do it.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to wrap it up today, and what I would like to wrap it up by saying is, what do you want to tell the people out there? Okay, I have an organization, preparetoprotect.org. What would you like to tell the people out there right now, the 3 most important things that you think would be to help protect the ears?
Well, don't expose, don't expose yourself to an excessive amount of sound. That is number 1. Use ear protectors, and there are some special ear protectors designed for musicians. There are special ear protectors that are designed that are actually off the shelf. You can buy them in a drugstore or any other stores. Okay? And there's some specialized ear protectors that can be done in places like, my practice. Okay, so they are customized.
Okay.
Those protectors.
I'd like to get some customized air protectors as far as, for when I'm jamming with my band.
By all means.
Okay, because we do all kinds of music from classic rock to 40s to, everything.
Yeah.
So
the other thing, is, there are some medication that are known to be what is called ototoxic, meaning that they can affect your hearing and they can also bring on tinnitus. Okay, so some of the medication is as simple as what people take every single day is ibuprofen, Advil. Okay, and I'm not talking about taking one, but some people for various medical reasons take anywhere from 6, 8, 10,
wow,
Advils a day.
That's not good.
That is not good for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons that this is not good is because it affects your hearing as well.
Wow, did you hear that, people?
Yeah. So,
ibuprofen can affect the hearing.
Right.
That is, thank you for telling us that,
of
Ann.
course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So those would be the two things that would be, pretty important. Other things, try to stay away from, different forms of injury caused to your ears or to your head. Okay.
What about these guys that are on motorcycles all the time in buildings? There's construction workers hearing. There's all kinds of, trades out there with bad sound that they're around and they don't really use. It's the same thing. They don't use eye goggles. I mean, we have to protect ourselves. But
well, it's education.
It is.
It's education, making sure that everybody complies with OSHA regulations, in terms of, the allowance of the sound for a certain amount of time. So it's all about, educating people of what is right and what is, not a good thing, to expose our ears to.
Well, this was an interesting interview with you, Doctor, and it was a pleasure meeting you for the first time for my appointment. And of course, I'm going to be seeing you again. And thank you for doing this interview for the people, with the people. And you are with Deborah K. Levi's Get With The Program in a place called Connecticut.
Thank you very much for having me,
And thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you.